So what you're about to witness has to be some of the slowest yet most chaotic driving in a daily race in quite some time. This daily race A around L6 test course reverse, which means you will be going up the steep hill, and we are going to be doing this in the VW Samba bus. Yes, a vehicle that only produces 33 horsepower, which means it produces a lot of chaos. So if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Now for the first race, we see ourselves in 9th position. We are starting in dead last, but with 9 drivers, it means it's a small lobby, which means we should be able to make a good few positions. Now I won't lie to you, I got caught sleepy on the line, so I was trying to switch on over to turn my traction control off, and the race began. So really off to a bad start, but at least we get to see the action between the Irish and the French driver as they go and actually get a little bit too close, and there is some contact made between the two of them, and we see contact is made yet again as the Irish driver takes the outside line and the Frenchman goes up the inside. But as you can see, people really want to fight and stick to the racing line, even if that means they need to bump another car out of it. So now something that is important with these vehicles being so slow is slipstreaming. Now as you can see, I was following the Frenchman, but he went into a ditch. Now I had to slam on the brakes because I didn't really want to have too much contact going into the first corner, because as you can see, it creates absolute carnage. Now absolutely crawling up the hill. This was the part that really kills you in this event, is going up that steep hill. Yes, my lowest speed coming up the hill was 30. It's so slow, and yet there is still so much carnage in this event. Now I won't lie to you, this was the first time jumping into the event, so I had no idea how to take this corner, which is why I had an absolutely terrible line, and you're gonna see the bus really just close the gap and actually go past me because of how terrible my line was coming out of that corner. So the Irish driver just goes straight past me, and then that's him gaining his position. Now it wasn't until the final corner once again where I went up the inside and managed to overtake the Irish driver. With these cars, it takes a very long time to play catch up to actually make an overtake. So yes, it took an entire lap to make an overtake. Next bit of action, you won't believe it, was around the final corner. Once again I went a bit wide, and the Irish driver made sure to let me know that he was there by just giving me a light bump. But I mean, at this level of racing, that's what you can expect, and this is what just solidifies the whole event. Now we actually see the Irish driver make an overtake around the final corner on the last lap to actually just get him ahead of another driver. So with that, that was our first race done, and finishing in 6th position, starting in 9th. Well, it could have been a better result, but for a first race, first time trying out the vehicle with the track, well, I mean, it could have been worse. Now for the second race, very similar to the first, we had a very bad start. Now off the line, absolutely terrible, and the fact that we're starting in 12th position, it just means that us having a challenge of getting to the podium is gonna make it a bit more tricky. Now I was in good hope, because you see the driver on the left of me in the black bus. Well, this British driver is a fellow content creator, streamer, YouTuber, and he was an A+ level driver, so I knew, okay, if I follow him, I have a good chance of making to a podium, and that's exactly what I did. Now stuck behind him, so I'm making a few overtakes. Now if you watch ahead, yeah, there's some how do I say, tomfoolery that was so bad. As you can see up ahead, there was a bit of contact, and you see a driver here in 9th. This is who we're gonna watch out for. He's gonna play a very crucial role in a couple of races. So as you can see, we just follow the British driver, and using his line, we see that we actually make a few overtakes and we make them stick. So he's in 7th position, I'm back in 10th, but I know we can still close that gap. Now this is really the part that slows down the entire event. The minute we get onto a straightaway, it honestly feels like we're going nowhere. But anyway, coming up to our final corner, you can see the drivers are taking a bit of a of a strange route, but the main point is you need to carry as much speed as possible. And with me doing that, I find myself actually making the overtake to make it into 7th position. Yes, we made 3 overtakes with just coming out of a corner the correct way. I wouldn't say it was a perfect line, but look, it was better than the other drivers. So now we need to just keep on chugging along, trying to keep up and match the pace of the UK driver. But however, that's easier said than done because he is extremely fast, and the fact that he is just slowly pulling away from us doesn't really help. Now, with us being a good distance away from the vehicle in front, it really doesn't help because, as I said, slipstreaming is really helpful in this event. And if you're just in the middle, like in a pack of your own, you are gonna find the people behind you close in, then you actually being able to catch up to the people in front. So the challenge was to make the distance shorter between the people in front and ourselves. Now we see by the end of lap 3, we see a bit of contact ahead of us, and we see that the drivers are being a bit more wild up, trying to make their overtakes. And we make an overtake and we see ourselves now in 7th position. We see that we actually lost the position for a bit because we weren't carrying enough speed. Now in this event, something strange happened. I became a proper dirty driver. I got pushed and then I retaliated and ended up spinning him out, which on my side, looking back at it now, was an absolutely terrible thing to do, and I do regret it. However, you push me, I push back. It's really toxic, and that's not the way racing's supposed to be done. But anyway, it got me my position after being bullied for a bit. So now cross the line, finish in 5th position. So that is an improvement over the last event. A good solid amount of overtakes, 7 in total. So overall, not that bad of an event. For the 3rd race, starting off in 9th position, I decided to put on Go Faster stripes to just see if it'll help. So starting off, we had a bit of a decent starting, the best starting so far of today. And we see that before we even really make any progress, there's already contact between 8th position and 7th position. The cars were so extremely close that no matter which way you went, you are going to bounce into another vehicle. So bit of contact, but anyway, with these low powered vehicles, I mean, a bit of contact isn't really gonna make that big of a difference. I mean, that's an utter lie. It is. With these cars having no get up and go, any contact that slows you down is horrible. So now we see that there is contact still up ahead. I don't know why there was so much contact between these vehicles. Like, drivers were being very aggressive to just make sure their overtakes stick. So I also had a bit of contact there, to a point where the car actually went ghost next to me. And we see coming up the hill, it was just a absolute traffic jam. It was jam packed coming up there. No drivers were really getting away from the pack besides the person in 1st position. So as you can see, more contact, more dirty driving. That's why, you know, drivers rating level C, it's a bit chaotic, just like this moment right here. Went through the gap, and as you can see, thankfully everyone was ghosted and we made progress. So now it's me and Rich Trick up in front. So in 3rd position is Rich Trick. Now this battle went on for quite some time. When I say quite some time, we actually ended up in 2nd and 3rd place because a car spun out and that just gave us the overtake. So now when it came up the hill, I already knew Rich Trick was a bit of a dirty driver, but to the point where he was okay pushing me out wide, lifted, okay, thought, you know what, I'll have the inside line. But then he proceeded to completely shut the door on me, to a point where I was doing 18 kilometers per hour coming up the hill, and that saw me drop down into 5th position as the 2 Indian drivers overtake me. And it was really just not a good line for me. Then a very vigorous move from one of the drivers saw a bit of a collision, and that slowed them down, which means I was able to carry a lot more speed and set my sights on a red streak. So the goal was to try and close the gap and make the overtake and make it stick. However, sadly, with the vehicle having no real speed, I was able to close the gap, but with red streak being just consistent and me still gaining pace, I wasn't able to make enough ground. So he got second position, I got third, and with that, that seals my podium position for this event. So with all this being said, this race, if you're into slow pace racing, a lot of contact, well, this is the race for you. But if you're not, well, you're gonna need to check out one of the other daily races, just like I'm gonna be doing in an upcoming video. So if you guys do go on to enjoy this video and want to see more just like it, well, hit that like and subscribe button.